Hello, I'm Judge Houston Wells. Welcome to County Connections. Today we're at the Franklin County Compost Facility, and our special guest is Blair Hecker, our Solid Waste Administrator. Blair, tell us a little bit about our compost facility.
So this compost pad was started in January of 2016. That was when we composted our first animal. We are the fourth livestock compost facility in the state, but the second municipal compost facility. So it's a pretty cool operation. We actually started this project with the goal of reducing some of the waste that we were sending to the landfill. We offer a service for farm owners here in Franklin County through a partnership with the Conservation Service to pick up fallen livestock from the farms. And prior to the implementation of this pad, we were actually sending those animals to the landfill. So number one, it was a cost for the county. We received a reduced rate, but it was still an annual cost for the county, as well as an environmental consideration with sending so many things to the landfill. So since we have been operational now for coming up on 2 years next month, we have composted over 700 animals, which you can see right over here. So that's a pretty large amount. And with that, we have actually saved over $18,000 already just in landfill savings. So if we were to have taken all of those livestock to the landfill and paid the gate rate to dispose of them there, we would have already spent over $18,000 in the past 2 years. So it's been a really big success for the county in terms of cost savings and in terms of environmental impact. That's 700 animals that have not gone to the landfill. And in turn, we've actually produced a viable soil amendment. So it's kind of all part of the recycling process as well. These animals that you see back here behind you, they cycle through the process 2 times and completely break down. We use a bed of wood chips and leaves, other yard waste that we collect through the road department. And once it all breaks down, it turns into this nice big finished pile of compost back here, which you can use as a soil amendment.
So Blair, you're talking about, and we see in the background all the wood chips. We have another program that we're offering free to the residents of Franklin County. That's where we come up with the wood chips and the leaves.
Yeah, absolutely. So this compost pad has allowed us to start a larger composting program for Franklin County. We have actually been the recipient of a state pilot compost grant. We're in our 2nd year of that pilot program. And with that, we were able to, through the road department, I should mention this whole project is a collaboration between solid waste and the road department. The road department operates the vehicles that pick up the livestock every day. They house the drop-off location for the yard waste, and they help manage and figure out exactly how this process works. And so through that pilot program, we have started the Yard Waste Wednesday drop-off program down at the road department, and that runs April through October. Any resident, city or county, you just have to have a valid Franklin County driver's license, can bring any of your yard waste material there for disposal. And it actually, once you drop it off there, it comes right up here and is mixed in and used in the livestock compost process as well.
All for free.
All for free, yeah, absolutely. And a cost savings for the county.
That's right. So let's go take a little closer look at what actually happens in this process of composting. It's a very neat program and very exciting and very front edge. Yeah. Right, Blair?
Very, very cutting edge. Like I said, we're only the 2nd municipality in the state doing this. So
let's take a closer look. Blair, we're here with the piles of the dead animals, and it's just a great, cool process. Tell the public about the science behind this.
So livestock composting is one of 3 approved methods for carcass disposal per the KRS statute. And that is because through the compost process, the piles actually heat up to a temperature between 160 and 180 degrees, high enough to completely break down the carcass and kill any of the bad bacteria that you would be concerned about with leaving the carcasses out or exposed to the elements. So how the process works is the pad is constructed of a compacted gravel surface, and we have both concrete and natural soil barriers surrounding it, and that's just to keep it all contained in one area. And then the animals, before they are placed on a bed of wood chips that are 2 to 4 feet. And then the animals placed on top of that and then completely covered over with another 3 to 5 feet of wood chips. And we actually do it, if you can see the shape, we do it in what's called a windrow system. And so that basically piles the wood chips on top in a mound. And what that does is it allows the water to absorb into the pile, and it does not shed off of it. We don't actually have any runoff or water that collects from this process. It all is going inside and helping with that decomposition process. And then you're also allowing the animal that's in the center of that pile, surrounded on all sides by wood chips, to heat up to that 160 degrees. So once those animals are in place, we do them in rows, and so the road department staff is great at keeping those organized and knowing when those animals were brought in, what they were. They sit for a period of about 8 weeks, and we test that temperature to make sure it's doing what it's supposed to do. And then you can actually tell when you walk up here that the piles that are finished, they kind of drop. So if you look at this row right here, you can tell this one's a little bit lower than some of these newer rows back here. And then once that's finished, we'll come in and we'll actually take the finished product, set it aside, and then we'll actually cycle that through one more time. So we cycle everything through twice before it becomes the finished compost product.
Here we are at the finished product, Blair. It's really exciting, and there's a future out here. What do you see the future being?
So this finished product, it's a great soil amendment. It's not quite a mulch product. About 16 weeks after an animal comes in, start to finish, this is what you're going to be looking at. We've partnered with some Kentucky State University students last year to do some analysis on this finished product. They grew plants in a greenhouse to test what the optimal amounts of this compost was to use for planting plants. And so we have some analysis on that, and it really is good, like any other compost product, as a soil amendment, adding some of those important nutrients back into the soil. So we're hopeful that in the future, this finished product will be used for county projects in the parks and through the road department. Eventually, as we get more, we're hopeful to be able to offer it as residential giveaways on down the road. And then with our compost pilot program, the future is to use the pad to grow the yard waste collection so that all residents in the county have an opportunity to dispose of their yard waste without taking it to the landfill, in addition to growing some zero waste programs through starting to compost food waste through different community events and things like that. So it's been a really good starting point for us. The product has really turned out great. The process has been great, and so there's a lot to look forward to.
Thank you, Blair. Thank you for taking the time to watch our County Connections program. We hope you like and share this. I look forward to hearing from you again.